Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the April 9th edition of Carolina Week.
Has Chapel Hill safety improved in the past month? I'm Erin Franklin. I'll have a live report.
2 suspects are in custody without bond. We'll explain just what that means.
In sports, Carolina pitching is doing well, but where are the bats?
Weathercaster Katie Costa will tell us if rain will dampen our weekend plans.
All of that, and could an agricultural woe cost you more at the bar? Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Sarah Huffman.
And I'm Adam Rue. Thank you for joining us. Nighttime security is on all of our minds right now. Carolina Week's Erin Franklin live in the newsroom with what local businesses are doing to keep you safe.
Adam, it's been less than a month since the murder of student body president Eve Carson, and Chapel Hill business owners are hoping that small efforts to increase safety will have a big impact.
With the brand new people we just installed.
2 days after we heard about Eve's murder, Spanky's restaurant manager Gavin Toth decided to make his restaurant safer.
We increased security by adding peepholes to both of our back doors, and also we now keep them locked pretty much 24/7. And we added a doorbell so that delivery men can ring the doorbell and we can let them in and know who they are.
UNC junior and Spanky's waitress Jessica Geis says increased security puts her at ease.
It's nice when the people that you work for make sure that you're safe. It just makes you feel better about the place you work in.
Safety isn't only a concern inside businesses on Franklin Street. The walk home is when Geis feels at risk.
Well, working at a restaurant, you get off really late sometimes, and so leaving the restaurant out the back alley is kind of scary.
Hey, how are you today, sir?
Police have not increased the number of officers on patrol on Franklin Street, but Officer Chris King says the department's making strides to better communicate with downtown businesses.
We've sent out a lot of emails to local merchants. We're trying to go through outreach programs, trying to go through the internet and just let people know, if you have anything, report it to us. And we're trying to get out in the community the best we can.
King says another crime like Carson's murder could happen again.
We can't be everywhere at once, unfortunately, and stuff that happens, random crimes, could happen anywhere.
But to try to prevent future crimes, downtown businesses are hiring off-duty officers to make residents and employees feel safer. Officer King says the streets are as safe now as they've ever been, but he says there's no way to guarantee anyone's safety. We all have to be cautious at all times.
All right, Erin Franklin live in the newsroom. Thank you. It brings us now to a follow-up to a story we brought you on Monday. Mixed opinions about a proposal to add emergency call boxes to some downtown neighborhoods. The plan would add 3 police call boxes like this one to off-campus areas popular with students. UNC student government is donating $80,000 of student fees to the town for the plan. But in an information session last night, a small group of downtown residents fired questions at police and at student government reps about whether the plan is worthwhile. Some folks say the boxes are unnecessary and are a waste of money. The call boxes are currently proposed for the intersection of Ransom and Macaulay Streets, at Church and Short Streets, and on Millette Street at Cameron Court. The town council has the final say about where the blue lights will go, so it's possible that some could go elsewhere. Chapel Hill police are working to solve 3 overnight armed robberies. All the victims say they were approached in parking lots by 2 men, one of whom had a handgun. The suspects are described as 2 black men between 17 and 19 years old, between 6 feet and 6 feet 4 inches tall, wearing black shirts and black pants. If you have any information, you can call Crime Stoppers at 942-7515.
We all want bad guys off the streets, but most of us don't know a lot about how the system works. Our Garrett Barosian takes a look at how bonds get set in capital cases.
The rationale behind bonds and how they're set in our criminal justice system aren't everyday topics of discussion, but students do have strong opinions about bonds in certain cases.
I definitely feel that the bond should increase depending on the criminal act.
I don't feel that necessarily someone who has been deemed a danger to society should be released back on any amount of bond or any dollar amount as far as that goes.
In North Carolina, one is considered an adult for criminal court purposes at the age of 16. Those younger than 18 won't receive the death penalty for a capital crime. In this case, Lawrence Lovett Jr. is 17, with a maximum possible penalty of life imprisonment for the offense he's accused of. Orange County Assistant District Attorney Jeff Neiman says a judge has lots to consider when determining a dollar amount for bond in cases like this.
Those factors generally include the seriousness of the offense, the weight of the state's evidence against the defendant for that offense, and the risk of flight of the defendant if the person is released.
It's been a little more than a month since the murder of student body president Eve Carson. Officials are holding Lawrence Lovett Jr. and Demario Atwater without bond in Orange County because they're considered a potential threat to society. But Neiman says it's important to remember one thing at this point in the case.
Both Lovett and Atwater are presumed innocent by the court, and the setting of a bond is not at this point a finding of guilt.
But it's an indication that there's reason for law enforcement and the courts to keep the accused locked up, especially in cases when there's no bond. In Chapel Hill, I'm Garrett Barogin, Carolina Week.
Atwater will be back in court on Monday. Lovett will have a pretrial hearing on the 24th. Duke University has created a fellowship to honor slain graduate student Abhijit Mahato. President Richard Broadhead announced the decision in a meeting with leaders of the local Indian community. The Abhijit Mahato Memorial Fellowship will help an international Duke graduate engineering student financially, and committee members will give preference to candidates from Mahato's native country of India. Lawrence Alvin Lovett Jr. is a suspect in both Mahato's and Eve Carson's murders.
After a week of rain, lakes and reservoirs across the Triangle are filling up. City officials in Raleigh ended Stage 2 water restrictions Monday morning, allowing residents to finally wash their cars and run their sprinklers once a week. Officials have opened University Lake to public recreation, but it and Chapel Hill's two other water sources, Cane Creek Reservoir and the Quarry Reservoir, are collectively still only at 69% of their capacity. But that is up 10 percentage points from a week ago. Chapel Hill's three lakes hold 2.5 billion gallons of water, and authorities estimate that will last 402 days, even if we don't have any measurable rainfall. The Orange Water and Sewer Authority plans to meet tomorrow night to discuss the county's water restrictions. North Carolina Hillel is sponsoring this year's Holocaust Remembrance Week. The event's kicked off with Speaker Jay Ibsen.
Are things like the Holocaust happening today? Yes. Absolutely.
The Holocaust survivor spoke to interested students Monday night at Greenlaw Hall. Ibsen talked about being forced into a Lithuanian ghetto when he was only 6 years old. He recounted the discrimination his family felt and their incredible escape in which they hid underground for 6 months. UNC junior Rachel Goldhaber thinks Ibsen's message is still important.
It's just really important to remember the victims and even the survivors so that this doesn't happen again. We can help stop Darfur and other possible genocides.
There's a vigil for all victims of genocide Thursday at 9 p.m. in the pit. Well, we all know you just can't prevent some illnesses because they're built into your genes.
Coming up, one UNC scientist uncovers the molecular mystery behind cystic fibrosis.